Hey, I'm Jenna Ushkowitz, and I am an actress, producer, singer, podcaster, you name it. The history of my career, it's very long-winded, so I'll kind of give you in a nutshell. I started when I was 3 in commercials and print jobs. At 9, I booked my first Broadway show, which was The King and I, the Broadway revival, with Lou Diamond Phillips and Donna Murphy. I continued on in commercials and in theater, studying my voice and dance. And then I went to a performing arts high school, and I have a BA from Marymount Manhattan College in theater performance and a minor in musical theater. Shortly after, probably about 6 months, I booked Spring Awakening on Broadway, which was incredible. And then out of Spring Awakening, I actually booked the TV show Glee, which is probably what I'm most known for. After Glee, I did Waitress on Broadway. I've done multiple movies, One Night in San Diego, Rose All Day, Hello Again, which is a musical film. And I produced my first Broadway shows in 2019, the revival of Once on This Island, and then in 2020, The Inheritance on Broadway, both of which won Tony Awards. So I guess I'm a Tony Award winning producer. It sounds crazy. And I also host a Glee recap podcast with my co-host, Kevin McHale. I think the thing I love the most about what I do is that I get to wear a bunch of different hats. I think as an artist, I always thought I had to just do Broadway. That was my main love, my first love. But realizing that I could direct and I could produce and I could kind of dip my toes into all of these different facets of the industry, and that was okay. I didn't have to just be great at one thing, is my favorite because it keeps it fresh. Sometimes I'm not really feeling like the acting thing, but I'll go and I'll produce a story and do produce a Broadway show, and that way I can kind of tell stories in a different way. I just think the variety has kept things really fresh for me, considering that I've been in the business for so long. Growing up, one of my big idols was a Broadway actress turned TV actress turned movie film actress, Kristen Chenoweth. I just loved that she was able to do it all, that she was doing it all really well. She kind of dipped her toes in, like I've been saying about, this variety of facets in the industry. And she always does it with a big smile on her face, and she's so wildly talented. So Kristen Chenoweth was definitely a huge idol growing up and continues to be. My motivation is that I like a challenge. I think the important thing to know about the industry, whether you've been in it for 30 years or you're just starting out, is that it will always be a challenge. It's never so easy and kind of like handed to you on a silver platter. And I definitely like the idea that I have to push and that I have to self-motivate. That always kind of keeps me going. What's next? What can I chase? What can I get? And then it's okay to kind of rest and enjoy where you are as well. But I think there's something about that competitiveness and a little bit of push that keeps me going every day. I think if you asked other people what Jenna's superpower would be, it would be my positivity. And over time, I think growing up, I was always a pretty positive person, glass half full, smiling, bubbly, always in a good mood. And obviously that kind of changes over time as things get harder, life gets harder. We go through challenging times, but also learning how to reframe things when they do get hard, when you do get into that negative space, really kind of looking at what you do have and being grateful for all of that. I think that's my superpower. Some of the challenges in my career have definitely been transitioning from one thing to another, whether that's transitioning from a kid actor to making my kind of putting my footprint in the sand as an adult actress and really proving myself that you're not just like the bubbly, fun kid who knows how to have a good time on camera, that, you know, you really hone in on your craft. So I definitely think that was one of the bigger challenges. And I feel like Spring Awakening on Broadway was definitely my opportunity to really kind of transition there. Some of the other challenges have been, you know, being on a hit TV show like Glee, and then things get tough. And afterwards, when you think like the world is your oyster and, you know, everybody's going to be knocking on your door and then they're not, that's also difficult. It's a hard thing to go from, you know, all the way at the top to what's next. How do I kind of transition there? Another challenge is really finding the love in the job when it does get hard. There are times I've wanted to quit the business completely. There are times where I've said, I just need a break. That's okay. And so that was definitely another challenge, is like finding the things that, and remembering the things that I love so much that keep me going. How do I want to change the world? I don't think that I necessarily want to change the world, but I do think it's important to me, the impact that I leave. I think that leaving the focus of positivity and reframing the way you see the world and the way you see yourself in the world is really important to me. I think it's really important to give back. That's always been a part of who I am, and it really fills my cup. So, you know, in addition to telling stories and sharing kind of my art that way, also giving back and being able to be an ambassador for charities that I care about, causes that I care about, and really use my platform to be able to reach voices and definitely just kind of raise awareness for things. I think that's really important as well. If there's one thing I could share, especially in this business, I think it's remembering that it's okay. Well, maybe that's not the thing. Hold on. Let me think about this for a second. One bit of advice, right? Okay. If I could share one bit of advice, I think it would be to be yourself, honestly. Breaking into this business is really hard. I think growing up, I always thought I had to kind of copy my idols, be like them in order to become as successful as them. And what I've come to realize is that there's already one of them and there's only one of me. So I think to really share who you are, to be true to yourself, be true to your integrity and your character, I think that's what's going to make you shine the most.